Hey everybody, the product we're doing today is Lodge Cast Iron Sportsman Grill. Ordered this one offline. It's a 17 1/4 by 9 inch grill surface. I would say this is like a portable grill for like camping and stuff. Of course you don't want to pack it up and hike into the woods with it or nothing, because it's got a little weight to it, but most anything that's cast iron is going to. So let's get this thing out of the box and see what we can do with it as far as putting it together. Okay, the pieces that it comes in it, your directions on how to put everything together is actually on the top. I missed that and put it together without the directions, but it's pretty simple. If you've got a little bit of common sense, you can figure out how to put it together. So let's get all the stuff out of it and get this baby put together. First thing that comes out is your bottom plate, and then you've got a Lodge book. This book's got a little bit of everything in it that Lodge actually makes. Got your draft door. You got your little door for where you load your charcoal at once your grill's on. You got your top piece. This right here is a handle for it. Your main body of your grill. Your bottom grate. And your cooking grate. So those are all the pieces that you're supposed to have in it, and of course your hardware for putting it together. And the only thing that it takes to put this together are these little screws. So set this out of the screen a little bit. Put this over here. The way this bottom works, this is the front part of your grill. And of course here's your screws. And then it fits on here like this. And then it's just simple putting a screw in. Your lock nut goes on. And then your regular nut. Now the only thing you're going to need for this is a flat tip screwdriver. With this locking nut on here, or locking washer, when you tighten this down to a certain point, it won't let this nut spin, so you don't even have to have a wrench or anything else to tighten this down. Just stick it in there like that. Try not to drop your little bits and pieces. Now the first one I put on here, I put on it from the bottom without flipping it over, just to hold everything together. In the directions it says do not over tighten. And then do the same on this side. I'll set it up, this side up, since I know it's not going to go anywhere. Put it together like that right there. And just tighten it up with a screwdriver. Now being I'm right-handed, hold the screw tight with your fingers and then tighten it down. And that's all there is to it. Now once you've done that, you have your grill here. This little grate goes right here, and this is what your charcoal will sit on. This draft door goes right in here. And what that draft door does is it closes up this hole. So if you want less fire or heat, you close the door. If you want more, you open it up. And then you have this little door that goes like that. And what that door is there for is so you can add more charcoal if you need to. And then that goes on top. And as far as your handle goes, there's nothing to putting it on. As you can see, it's got an open slide on it. And it goes like that. And that's all it is to putting it together. I'm gonna use this grill and I'll do some cooking videos actually using it. So there that is. I'll have a link in the bottom or in the description below so you can actually see this grill on Amazon. I forgot to check to see how much I paid for it. I want to say it's $100. I want to say I paid $100 as far as shipping and everything else. So I'll put a link in the description below so you can order this grill if it's something like you would be interested in doing it. Please like and subscribe. This channel is going to be made up of reviews, some cooking stuff. If it's the product I'm reviewing has to do with cooking or anything like that. So hope you're all doing good. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.
How to make your own brick hibachi style grill. That's right, whenever we do a grilling video, I always get people emailing me telling me how much they love that style of grill and where can they get one. To which I reply, unfortunately you can't. They do not make this model anymore. And while they still do a gas version, everybody knows that charcoal grilling is a million times better. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make virtually the exact same grill using regular old bricks. So let me show you how to do this. It's very simple. First thing we're going to need is some flat ground. Okay, so please don't attempt this on a steep slope. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay down a base of bricks. I'm going to go with 12. And by the way, I use wood chips as a ground cover. So I did water this down before I started. Nothing puts a damper on a backyard cookout like a wildfire. Hey, how was Joe's barbecue? Well, except for the burns on my ankle, it was great. Okay, so safety first, spray everything down. But anyway, we're going to lay down 12 bricks in kind of a rectangle shape. And you will note I'm not pressing these tightly together. I do want about a 1/4 inch space in between them, which is going to provide a little bit of airflow underneath the coals, which is kind of a big deal. And then once we've aced the base, let's go ahead and do one more layer of bricks, but this time we're going to put them up on their side. And I'm going to use 8 bricks, 2 on each side, and I'm going to go all the way around with those. And what specifically is determining how exactly I lay this layer out is going to be the shape of the grates I'm using, which you're going to see in a minute. So when you actually do this yourself, you might need to make yours round or square or even more rectangular. It's going to depend on what you place on top, okay? And then once those bricks are laid down and arranged into the appropriate positions, I'm going to go ahead and lay my grates down to test. Really, the only thing that can go wrong here is that grate would fall into the fire while you're cooking. So make sure there's plenty of support underneath. So that's looking pretty good. And believe it or not, that's pretty much all there is to it. And by the way, speaking of grates, check out the blog post. I'm going to give you some ideas on where to find those, but that's really not too hard. And at that point, I'm going to take those off because we got to put coals in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start my coals. And while we're waiting, let me show you one very cool thing. If you want, you can actually tip these bricks over and you'll have your grates even closer to the coals, which is really, really nice for high heat searing. So because I'm demoing with some chicken breasts, I'm not going to do it. But if I did want to do something like skirt steak or flank steak, where you want a really super high heat sear, that would be perfect. But I'm doing chicken, so I'm going to put them back on their sides. And once our coals are ready, and I'm just using one of these chimney style starters, we're going to go ahead and dump those in. And then you want to spread those out a little bit into an even layer. And why am I using a garden trowel for that? Because it works, and it was right there. And at that point, we're going to lay down our grates so they can get nice and hot before we start grilling. And by the way, if you only remember one thing from this video, do not put the meat on the grill until your coals are white. All right, we never want to put food down on top of coals that are still on fire or still black. Okay, so if you know somebody that does that and everything they grill tastes terrible, send them this video anonymously. Okay, it might help. But anyway, when your coals are white and your grates are hot, then and only then can we start to cook. And I like to give the grates a little rub with an oiled paper towel. And then we'll go ahead and put down our meat, in my case, a couple nice chicken breasts. And by the way, you're going to see those breasts in an upcoming video. That was from an experiment I did using pickle juice as a brine for chicken. Very interesting, so stay tuned for that. And don't get me wrong, those big kettle-style grills that most people have in the backyards, those are great for lots of things, especially if you're roasting or smoking a whole chicken, or pork shoulder, leg of lamb, something like that. But when you're doing steaks or chicken breasts or stuff you want to sear really quickly, high heat, shorter cooking times, I really prefer these shallow style grills, which I call hibachi style. And then one other trick here, if you were cooking something that you did want to cover for a little bit, you can actually use one of these bowl style terracotta planters to invert over your food like that. And you've basically made yourself a little clay oven. But since I'm doing chicken breasts, I really don't need that here. So I'm going to take that off. And the reason I can use my bare hands is because this was only on for 10 seconds. Or if you use that for real, you're going to want to use some heat-proof gloves or a wooden dowel to move that around. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm going to pull my chicken off, and then once that's cold, you can go ahead and scatter those ashes into your garden. I hear that's good for the soil, or at least that's what they said in that documentary about forest fires. And then you can just go ahead and pile those bricks up in some corner of your garden until the next time you want to grill. So whether you're doing this because you want to simulate the old Chef John grill, or maybe you only cook out a couple times during the summer and you don't want to invest in a grill, this is perfect for that. But anyway, that's it. A quick and literally dirty video on how to make your own brick hibachi style grill in just a couple minutes. Not only does it work great, but it looks really cool too. Plus, when people ask you about it, you'll be able to tell them about food wishes, okay? So I really hope you give that a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for, well, there's no ingredient amounts, but there will be a lot more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.